Why don't you just start by introducing yourself and telling us what you do?
I'm Katharine Grunseth. I'm an ESL teacher, English as a second language teacher at Kelly Elementary.
What made you decide to get involved with Youth Grow?
My background is actually in forestry, and that's what I went to school for. And then my family had a cherry orchard. My hope was just to educate children more about it, and teachers too, so that they make that connection and taking care of their environment and, being a steward of the land and thinking about where their food comes from, and it doesn't come from Cheetos.
Why don't you tell us about what students learn and do in your Youth Grow?
Well, for instance, we did a whole pollination unit, try and get them to not freak out when they go in the garden and see a bee, know that the bee is actually working. So we went out and we looked for different flowers, and we looked for whether or not bees were traveling to those flowers. But my hopes is in the future we'll get a whole pollinator-friendly garden going, and then when we go out there, we'll see all sorts of animals in action.
Are the students involved is it just a learning garden, or do they actually plant
Take care of
and
it,
take
yes.
care of it?
Actually, that's primarily what they're doing. Anytime I'm planting something, I make sure that one of the grade levels is planting it. And then we try to, because we go through what living things need, so we try to interact them with watering or, noticing when it's rain so we don't need to water. And then I have some fourth grade girls who aren't even my students, but who love to water. They come for the after school class, the garden class that Lisa does. So then they want to water, and I'll bring them out there and we'll water.
Have you seen that change in other teachers, though?
Maybe a little bit. I think there's definitely room for growth. We're supposed to get a halftime coordinator next year, and I'm hoping that will be the missing piece, that she'll be able to really help those teachers who want to go out but are too afraid to go, or don't know what they're going to do, or don't have time to plan a lesson. It's going to be all done for them, so then it'll just be having to go and get the children there. And I think that will make a difference.
So how would you say students change from their involvement with gardening?
I think, for me, there's very little behavior management in the garden, besides them maybe getting a little excited, about they're the ones that are normally maybe an issue in the classroom are less of an issue when they're out in the garden. Just kind of calms them down a little bit. They're just more excited to learn when they're in that outdoor space. Even when we're out there in the winter and it's kind of cold, most of them are really excited to be out there. I mean, you get the occasional ones who are complaining about the sun or the heat or something like that, but for the most part they're always asking when are we going out, and those there's discoveries every time.
How about in terms of how they look at food? Does that change? Do you notice any
I
changes
think
there?
so. I mean, we sang this whole song in first grade, Dirt Made My Lunch, and when we first sang it, they were like, what? This is crazy. What are you talking about? And then we talked about, the different things that they ate for lunch, and then we would kind of rewind it back to the ground and okay, do you see where your bread, how the flour came from the ground? So there's great excitement with the teacher and with the student.